Um, so, wow, I forgot. Like, where do you even go from this? Like, how do you even move on to anything from this? Okay, so yeah, that puts those rumors to rest, but it still doesn't quite explain, the whole thing going on with these weird voices. Like, have you guys ever experienced something like that where there's like no real logical explanation to whatever paranormal activity that's going on around you, right? Like whether it's hearing voices or like sometimes it would be like scratches on the walls, or sometimes it'd be even in your sleep where you'd be having these weird waking nightmares where you feel like you're awake, you can't move your body, but there's something moving around like in the background. Almost feels like it's not human. Have you guys ever experienced something
That's
like that?
The sleep paralysis.
Yeah,
That's common with a lot of people.
but those
Not
creatures though, because like sometimes I would experience sleep paralysis and it would just be like, for example, I'd be late to work, but I'd be so tired, and so it's like I'm trying to get out of bed, but it feels like I'm awake, but I'm not really awake. And because of this concern that I have that I need to get up to go to work fast, that I'm that I get that feeling, but I don't really ever feel the existence of anything around me, right? But it's like when like at certain points of my life, depending on where I go, like depending on where I am during that period, sometimes I felt where I would experience this sleep paralysis, but there'd be something else going on there, something moving around or something trying to pull me in, something like that, like something just odd. And I was never really able to, I mean, I have theories and I have, a sort of explanation that I have just, from coming from like a religious background. But I'd always wondered, like, is there any talk of this as some sort of like extraterrestrial thing where certain, because it doesn't happen everywhere, it just happens in certain places that I go, right? Is it that perhaps these aliens or their UFOs or whatever, do they maybe target a different, like, are they a part of a different realm essentially? Because like when you sleep, and this has been scientifically proven, is that when you sleep you actually die. Like you die for a short period and then you come back to life whenever you wake up, right? And so when you're in that state of subconsciousness, are you really in a state of subconsciousness, or are you in sort of like a different state of consciousness where you're in a different realm, or you're sort of, your mind's eye is seeing things from a different perspective? And I know you, like, if you feel comfortable, obviously, but you should know more of what I'm talking about, Annie, right? Because sometimes you can get there not just by sleeping, but by certain medications. And so, what do you think, Annie? Like, have you ever had these dreams where, you feel like you're there, but you're not actually there? You feel like, this is real, but it's happening on sort of a different side of the world?
Yeah, kind of like lucid dreaming. I do believe that it is kind of like caught between dimensions. Like we do kind of get, some things do kind of penetrate into our dimension. It's just like realms that we can't see, kind of like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, kind of like that. And in those realms, you could then see different life forms that perhaps only exist in those realms. In fact, you could even sometimes communicate with them, or they could sometimes try to do something that affects you when you wake up too. Like you feel like something different happened, right? Because I remember, like, when I first moved to Burbank during that time, I felt something like that, where it was my first night sleeping in my new spot, and it almost felt like, and it's funny that we're gonna go back to the same thing that we just dropped, but it almost felt like something like moved really fast and wanted to like probe me from like the anal cavity. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this on a podcast, but it's true. My first night sleeping in that new spot in Burbank, it felt like something zoomed in on me and tried to put something up my anus. And I don't know if it was like the spirit of something that's just like, you know, like, I don't know, and or an alien. I have no idea, but it felt so real to the point where as soon as he came close, I woke up and I was like, no, and I just sort of smashed the back of my bed, thinking that something was about to attack me or something. So when I woke up, I realized that this has definitely got to be real. Like I didn't just dream this, or like I know this happened. Something crept up behind me super fast. And so, like, have you experienced something like that? Like, do you have an explanation of what that was? Is it an alien that can fly and was able to fly and just like zoom in so fast on my location? Is that what had happened, or what do you guys think?
I'll just chalk that up to a dream, but you saying?
But it felt so much more real than a dream, dude. Like it felt like it felt like, you know, I could feel the wind hitting my face. I could taste stuff. I could smell stuff. And then when I woke up, I just, like, I knew that something was there. I knew that something was behind me. And so I woke up super fast and just smashed the back of my bed, right? Like I thought I was going to punch it. Like, I thought I was actually going to punch something behind me. But, you know, that's all it was. Like, what?
You saw the figure?
I didn't see it. No. I did. That's why I told you I smashed the back of the bed. I didn't see anything. I just smashed thin air. But are you talking about when I was dreaming it? When I was dreaming it felt like I was sort of riding him. It's almost as if my soul was on top of him, and then by the time he zoomed in on me from outside, it's like he came from the air, and then he came through like the balcony to where I was sleeping, right? Because there's like a little balcony, and then in front of it was my bed. And so it seemed like I was riding on top of him, and then as soon as he approached, and like I could see the hands and everything, my soul just entered my body, and then I woke up and smashed the back of my bed. And so I didn't quite see the figure altogether, but I could see, like, I could hear him breathing, and it was like the rough kind of breathing, you know, like it was a like that. You know, it's almost as if he's breathing from a tube or something.
Yeah.
That's really trippy, dude.
Yeah, that was super trippy. And the funny thing is, I had just moved to California during that time. And so I wasn't even like, I had never really been familiar with drugs or anything like that before. So I was in a perfect, like, you know, sober state of mind. It was my first time moving to that spot in Burbank. And it was my first night there that, you know, that weird shit happened. But then after that, it didn't happen as common. It only sometimes happened, like, whenever I moved to a new place, right? And not all places. Like, I moved to a bunch of different places during that time, but certain places that sort of seem isolated than anywhere else. You know, places that are sort of not, where you don't have a lot of people, where it's not like usually older people live there, or not quite as inhabited.
Yeah, Ace is like another reason why all of this exists, like the conspiracy theories. Just you having that experience, it felt so real to you.
Yeah.
So people feel the same thing, like when they see a spacecraft, or they talk about alien abduction and all that. So it feels real to them too. When you think about it like that, that's like amazing. While a lot of people have those type of experience.
So you're saying there's like truth behind all these stories that we heard. And, you know, I think you have like something, like, it's not just a story. You said that there was actual proof, and that it was on like a big show or a big podcast. I remember you mentioning something like that on the Joe Rogan show about Area 51, where there was actual proof of these things that people are claiming to be alien, like that involved aliens or something like that.
Yeah,